Hello everyone. I'm going to go over Module 7 and the things that we're going to cover in Module 7. So first things first, I am grading your interview summaries, so I'll get those back to you as soon as possible. And then kind of jumping off of that, we'll talk first about your next assignment that's due. I did change the date on that. Originally, it was going to be due, like your other assignments, it was going to be due this coming Thursday. But since you're not getting a full 2 weeks to work on this, I pushed it. So it's due 1 week from today, so it's going to be due next Sunday by midnight. And that is your research question. So looking at the syllabus for the research question down here. So this is all building towards your final project, your big paper, your research paper. So you've created your blank document, you've done your interview summary. Hopefully doing your interview, you may have kind of identified something that you want to look further into with your research moving forward. If so, awesome, run with that. And if not, maybe you found an article in your original article summary that you really liked that kind of spurred you and pointed you in a certain direction. So regardless, you're going to use the tool on APA Style Central. So again, your syllabus, and I believe this description is also right in the assignment itself. I'm not going to read through this, but just know that it's in your syllabus, and what I'll do is just actually show you. So I'm in APA Style Central here. Obviously, I've logged in. This is just a blank example document, and I just want to show you the tool that you'll be using to develop your research question. So when you open up your document, this is what you have. This is what you should be looking at. Go up here to Research Lab Book, click on that, and then click on Develop My Research Idea. And you're just going to follow these prompts. So I won't go through all these steps because it's just going to be kind of redundant and you're going to go in your own direction anyways. But this is where you get started. You can see it gives you kind of the plot of everything that you're going to go through. And you see right here at the end, export your notes. So when you get all said and done going through this, it'll give you a page or so of notes that you can print out, and then you can use, well, I will go back to the syllabus real quick. Then you can use the Pico format. See, it says Pico down here, and that was in last week's module. That was in one or two of the PowerPoints that you looked at. So you should feel comfortable with what the Pico model is. So you'll go through this timeline here, this format. You'll get your page of notes, and then you'll develop your pointed research question from that. And literally your research question is just that, that one powerful sentence of what exactly you're going to be looking for. So again, research lab book, develop research idea, and then, ask me questions to help me discover my interest. So maybe you don't have a direction that you're going in yet, or maybe you have a very loose idea. Or you can click on, you already know what you're interested in researching, and then you'll move forward from there. So that's pretty much all I want to show you in that. If you get partway in and you have specific questions or you're having difficulties, again, as always, email me, and we'll figure it out together. So that's fairly straightforward. What I really want to talk about a little more is kind of jumping ahead. So again, going back to the syllabus, obviously this is our last week before spring break. I'm not going to post a module during spring break. I'm not going to be that mean. But looking ahead at the next assignment that you have due, it's not due until March 30th, but that'll sneak up on you. So your next assignment is going to be your critical review forms and your reference list. So I won't go into too much detail here, but you can read this for yourself. The biggest thing first off will be right here, finding at least 3 peer-reviewed journal articles with statistically significant results, and you see the p-value there. So we'll talk about that a little more now. If you go into your readings and media, the first thing, obviously after watching this video, you'll see there's 3 PowerPoints here that you can look through. This is going to give you some basic on stats. I believe you guys are already going through statistics as we speak. So again, here's your p-value. So p is talking about the probability. So the probability that something can happen by chance. So this is how you'll see it reported in the articles that you're looking at. Actually, it'll usually be a equal to or greater than is how it'll be shown. But the important thing to notice is 5% is the cutoff for scientific literature. So you're going to be looking for 0.05 or less. So 0.03, sometimes you'll see p is greater than or equal to 0.001. So that's really good probability. And what that means is, again, the probability is talking about if it's greater than 5 in 100, that's talking about how many times the results that are reported in that study can happen by chance. So if you're saying 5%, then there's just a 5% chance that the results are completely random. Okay? That's why you want a smaller number there. So your cutoff is 0.05. The other one you'll see, I think on the next slide, 2 slides in, correlation, you'll see that most oftentimes as R. That you want to have a higher number. You won't always see the R reported, you'll almost always see the p-value reported. And this will be important because it's stuff for this class, and also when you go further into research, this is stuff that's going to be important for you to report in your literature review, because it talks about really how strong and valid the research, the article that you're looking at is. So look through those. Again, as you saw, there's notes underneath a lot of the slides, so make sure you're looking at that as well. So go through those, and then there are 3 tutorials from APA Style Central that it's going to go into a lot more detail. So these 3 PowerPoints will kind of get you on the path, and then these 3 tutorials are going to go into a lot more detail. And what this is all going to do is it's going to help you as you start doing your research. It's going to help you understand exactly what you're looking at when you're looking at these articles. Okay? And that's important because you can't interpret it if you're not understanding it as you're reading, right? So go through this stuff. It is lengthy, so don't try to cram it in all at once. You know, a couple of the tutorials are only 16 slides, but they have that audio component, and it's, you know, a couple of the slides might take 7 minutes to get through just one slide. There is a lot here, so like I said, don't wait for the end, and I wouldn't do all 3 of them back to back. It's just going to be overwhelming. So just chip away at that stuff and make sure you get a good understanding of it, because that's going to help you moving forward. You can see down here I have the looking ahead, and I say right in here, you know, there's a lot of information that's going to help you moving towards that next assignment, the critical review forms and your reference list. So what we're talking about with critical review forms, you have a couple examples. So actually what you'll do here is, this is a PDF of an article. It's kind of a bogus study. It's meant to be kind of funny. Like if you look here, clinical trial gone awry, the chocolate happiness undergoing more pleasantness, aka CHUMP study. So it's a very tongue-in-cheek, it's not an actual research study. So read through it and get a kick out of it. But what is going to be most helpful, read through that, and then you're going to look at the chocolate article appraisal. So this is going to kind of show you what you're going to be doing. The form that you're going to use is going to look a little different, but for that assignment, for your reference list and your 3 critically appraised topics, that's where we get CAT form, C-A-T, critically appraised topic. So for those 3 articles, this is what you're going to do. It's going to have the purpose of the study, so exploring the impact of chocolate on people's happiness. How does it apply to your research question, the setting of the study, and so on and so forth. Instrument outcome measure, so this one used a pretest and post-test of happiness using a Likert scale. So a Likert scale is, you'll have a statement and then it's 0 through 5, or in this case 0 through 10, unhappy versus happy. That's what a Likert scale is if you're unfamiliar with that. Methodology, this talks about IRB approval. IRB is Institutional Review Board. So every college has that, every journal has a review board, and that's to make sure that the actual research that is being conducted is ethical. So this talks about the outcomes. We actually have a quote right in there, limitations to the study, and the reason that the study was selected for inclusion in your paper. So I'll show you, and you also see the actual APA reference for it up here. So I'll show you the form that you'll be using. But like I said, first what I want you to do is read through that article, read through the appraisal topic, and then look at where the information is coming from. So right here, participant sample. So actually go back into the actual article about the study and see where they're talking about this, because that's going to give you kind of a good idea of the process that you're going to go through with your articles that you find. So the form that you'll be using, and the reason that we're using this one is because this is kind of the gold standard, so you might actually see this quite a bit. So this is adapted from a PDF developed by McMaster University, as you can see, and it really goes through a lot of the same stuff. It's just kind of a different format. So you'll have your APA citation up here, and again, I thoroughly encourage you to use that function on APA Style Central that I showed you last week, as far as, let's see, I think it's under right. So as far as developing your reference list, here it is, add a reference. So that is under the research tab. So again, I totally encourage you to use this because this is a great resource. So create your reference here and just copy and paste it into your critical review form. So you'll have your citation, study purpose, outline the purpose of the study, how does it apply to your research question. For these boxes here, if you double click, so was the purpose stated clearly? Let's say yes it was. So double click and this pops up. All you're going to do is hit checked and OK, and now that box will be checked off. Was relevant background literature reviewed? That should be the case in everything that you look at, hopefully. So again, check it, OK. And you're just going to go in here and type in whatever you want to type in. So going through, it asks about the design, what kind of study it was, and some of this will make more sense once you go through the tutorials on APA Style Central. This talks about the sample, so the people in the study. Was it described in detail? Was it justified? this talks over here, informed consent. Was informed consent obtained? Again, that'll all be within your articles that you find. Outcomes, intervention. So this would probably be one of the most important. So intervention, and a little further down, excuse me, intervention and results are probably going to be the two areas where you want to put in the most information. And it's really up to you how detailed you get, but I'll tell you this. The more you put into making these critical review forms, the more information you put in here, the easier it's going to be for you to actually create your paper. Because if you put a lot of time and effort into writing these sections out really well in your critical review forms, you can essentially copy and paste into your paper. You're going to want to clean it up a bit, obviously, and you're going to want to make it flow better, but you're going to have everything that you need from your articles already at your fingertips. Everything's going to be there. You're not going to have, 3, 4, 5 printed out articles scattered all over your desk and jumping around trying to figure out what you want to say. You're going to already have that. Conclusions and implications, you're already going to know that. So I encourage you, when I had to do this, all of my critical review forms ended up being like 3 or 4 pages total a piece. Excuse me. But that made my life that much easier when it came to writing the actual paper. So definitely take your time in doing these. And again, like I said, for anything that's a checkbox, just double click, click checked, click OK. And then obviously you would go up here and save it. I'm not going to do that because this is a blank document, obviously. And I'll give you a link to that. I don't have it in here yet, but I will upload that file and add it right to the end of this paragraph here. So you will have that blank critical review form to work on. The other thing I wanted to mention briefly, again, you've already had some exposure to actually conducting research, or not conducting research, but finding articles. Hopefully everybody watched and was able to watch the video that I posted. That was Sandy from the library talking to Sarah's class. But, just to give you another look at it. Oh, that's good. I didn't know that APA Style Central was right there. Trying to find where I usually go through for Hatch Library. Bear with me. Nope, that's not it. Alright, well, we'll just do database by title. So let's scroll down. Let's see. CINAHL Complete is a good one to go through. There is, I can't find it right this second. Maybe it's under Research Guides. There we go. So under Research Guides, you can go right down to Occupational Therapy. Sometimes it might be beneficial, depending on what you're looking at, to look at Physician Assistant and maybe even Psychology, depending on what direction you're going in. But Failsafe, Occupational Therapy. Now you have CINAHL, Medline, PsycInfo. So you have a few different resources to go through there. So going into Medline. So again, let's say I wanted to find something about, let's say, stress in college students. Perfect. You can do or not. That was talked about in a couple of last week's presentations. I'm going to keep it with and. And I'm going to say stressing college students and nature. The other thing I'm going to do is scroll down here. I won't do full text yet. I'll wait to see how many pop up. We'll definitely make it English. And let's see. I think that's all I'm going to do for now, actually. And let's just see what pops up. So 1 to 30 of 3,909. So let's limit that. Well, let's first change. We don't want to go all the way back to 1924, so let's say 2007. Still quite a bit. So we'll go full text. And this is giving me a little more. That's just a very quick, basic. You can do advanced search. That gives you a few more options. But just in general, how to get started. And again, the video that you have of Sandy will go into a lot better detail. The other thing you can use that I already have pulled up here is don't be afraid to use Google Scholar. So it's just scholar.google.com. I'll use this a lot of times if I'm going through here. So let's search again. Say I find something in here. So this article here has PDF full text. This article doesn't. So a lot of times if I find an article and I read the abstract and it's really, really good, but I can't access the article through Hatch, I'll copy and paste the title into Google Scholar. And every now and then you'll get lucky and you'll find a free source right through here. Or you can just start your search right in Google Scholar and see what comes up. So it's a fairly reliable source. Just always make sure that what you're looking at is credible. So we'll leave that there. What else did I want to talk about? I think that might be it for now. So really, again, the focus for this week, develop your research question. And then that's going to lead you into actually finding your articles. The other thing I wanted to show you real quick, if at any point you are struggling with something, trying to find where it is. Maybe it's back under research. Yeah, here it is. So under research, if there's a term that you see and you're just not sure what it is, you have access here to APA dictionaries. So there's two different dictionaries, the Dictionary of Psychology, 2nd edition, or Dictionary of Statistics and Research Methods. You can click all, obviously, and say there's something that pops up that you're unsure about. So this will kind of lead you in the right direction for that. And I just typed in ANOVA because you will see it. That is in your PowerPoint presentations. So don't worry about that yet. But just an example, if you come across something, this is kind of a good resource to go through. So that's that. Again, develop your research question. How you'll submit that is, when you get done going through all the prompts on APA Style Central, it'll give you that page to print out or download. So you can download that into a Word document, and then you're going to review it and then create a concise research question using the PICO model, and then you're just going to upload the document to Canvas. I would recommend uploading all of it, so the notes that you get from going through the prompts on APA Style Central, keep that in there because that'll kind of show me your process. And then whether you want to do it right at the top of the paper, put your research question, or at the very end, put your research question. However you want to do it, just make sure that I know that I can easily see, what your actual research question is. But I would definitely include all the notes that you get from going through the APA Style Central, because that'll kind of help me see your process and maybe offer some suggestions if you're still struggling. And I think that is it for that. Again, I wrote down here there's no discussion this week because I really want you to focus on the research question and really start diving into, covering all of this information up here and then getting into your critical review forms. If you have any questions, as always, get in touch sooner rather than later. I'll obviously be checking email all week as I continue to grade your interview summaries. I'll probably post something before spring break. I'll definitely be checking email through spring break. So I will definitely be in touch. Just like I said, better to ask questions sooner than later. So I think that's all I have for you for now. All right, enjoy your week.